Hey everyone, welcome back to First-Hand Globetrotting. I'm back with part 5 of my cruise on the Carnival Legend. This is the 6th day of the cruise and I'm having a great time. It's my first ever cruise, so I'm getting a chance to learn what it's like to spend a week floating around the ocean. So far on my trip, I've gotten to explore the ship, eat some amazing food, try out the different activities they have on board, visit the capital city of the Bahamas, go to a private beach island, and so much more. If you missed any of my other videos, I'll put links down below. Make sure to check them out. Another day, another port. Today we're at our third and final port, pulling into Freeport on Grand Bahama Island. I have to admit, it looks pretty great as the sun rises. I've heard that this port is a lot different than Nassau. There really isn't much when you get off the ship, just more of an industrial area, so really not very walkable at all. For every other port I've done my own thing, but this one definitely seemed like it would be more fun to do an excursion. I'm glad I did, because I don't think I'd find much to do near the ship in Freeport. As soon as I got off the Legend, I went down to the excursion waiting area to be picked up. Just like the sign says, I'm going kayaking, seeing some Bahamian nature, spending time at Gold Rock Beach, and visiting some gardens. You can tell that the excursions are pretty popular here by looking at the parade of tour buses waiting for people. Luckily, our tour was a smaller group in one of the vans. As we started pulling away from the port area, it was a little more barren along the road than I was expecting. I'm not exactly sure what I thought it would look like, but it was mostly just some tree trunks sticking up in rows. I'm really glad we decided to book an excursion through the cruise, because as we drove away from the port, there really wasn't much to see for a while. The cruise port is really off by itself, pretty isolated. I actually like that it's a bit of a drive between the port and where we're going. It's relaxing having someone else drive you around, so you can just look out the window and see what the rest of the island looks like, not just the tourist highlights. It was just a nice drive through Grand Bahama. I like that I've been able to see 3 different Bahamian islands on this trip, a new one every morning. But before long, we turned off the main road and started driving along a little path with some mangroves along the side of the road, so I knew we were getting close to the first stop of the tour. We're going kayaking. This is the part of the tour that made me so excited to book it. I love getting out on the water, and getting a chance to paddle through some small little Bahamian streams seemed like a no-brainer. We're over on the eastern side of Grand Bahama now, in Lucayan National Park at Gold Rock Creek. It's around 40 kilometers from the cruise terminal in Freeport and took around 45 minutes to get here. We definitely seem to be far away from most of the bigger cities and towns on the island. In my kayak, it's just so calm and peaceful on the water. It's so smooth and surrounded by mangroves on every side. The first part is incredibly open. Even if you've never kayaked before, it's more like you're in a pond than a creek. There's lots of room on every side, so you have plenty of space to practice your paddling and make sure you're comfortable getting the kayak moving through the water. But as you go, the mangroves start to slowly close in around you, turning the big open water area into a narrower creek with every stroke of the paddle. I really love mangroves. Their roots remind me of hands reaching down into the water, twisting and turning and bending underneath the surface, blending into the water. The roots are so intertwined with each other, they kind of make a little maze that the fish and other animals can swim through and use as a hiding space. Just look at this. There's barely enough room for my kayak to get through. It's like I'm in a mangrove tunnel. Because it's so narrow, sometimes there would be little mangrove traffic jams when people would get stuck in the trees and had some trouble paddling themselves out. But that was okay with me, since it gave me a chance to stop for a minute and look around and admire the nature around me. Other than the mangroves, up until this point I hadn't really seen much underwater. It was mostly just a sandy, empty bottom. But as we made our way back into some of the more open areas, I began to see some seagrass under the surface. You can see the water really isn't very deep here. As we went, the mangroves started to slowly open again, so the narrow tunnels were replaced by a normal-sized creek. The more open areas are fine, but I loved being surrounded on every side by the vegetation, with the leaves blocking everything around me. That was definitely a highlight. At the end, we came to a little bay that opened up to the ocean, with sandy coastline replacing the walls of mangroves I had been surrounded by for the past hour and a half. This was a great morning of kayaking, but all good things have to come to an end. Even if the tour had been done now, it would have been completely worth it. This was such a great spot to get to go kayaking. I had an amazing time and would definitely do it again. The best part is, other than the people in our van, we didn't see anyone else on Gold Rock Creek the entire time we were kayaking today. When we got back to the main road, we went to a little walking path that takes you across Gold Rock Creek to the next stop of our tour, Gold Rock Beach. As soon as we came out to the beach area, I knew why the guide brought us. It was a huge, beautiful, sandy beach, and we seemed to have the entire thing to ourselves. Just look at this. It's like we washed ashore on a deserted island that no one knows about. Even though it's part of the park, it was completely empty. Look how far the tide goes out. It makes a nice ripple effect on the sand, and you can really see how far it moves between tides. But look down there. I can actually see other people who aren't with our tour on the beach. I'm still shocked at how such a beautiful beach is so empty. The whole experience is just so peaceful. I love just standing in the shallow water as the small waves slowly roll in, with nothing but white sand and nature visible. You have to agree with me, this is pretty much the perfect beach to spend a few hours at, right? Our guide said that they even used this beach to film some of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. It makes sense. I totally believe that this is some remote island out in the middle of nowhere that pirates hide out at. And I just can't get over the great visual of the little ridges of sand that form. It kind of reminds me of the coral I saw the other day, where the ridges made it look like a brain. Comparing this to a beach in a city or even one at a resort, I like this one so much better, where it's just nature in every direction without anything built up or loaded with people. Feels like my own private beach. Don't get me wrong, I loved Princess Key yesterday, but this is a completely different type of experience than that was. Look closely between the shells and the sand. Do you see the crab? It does a great job camouflaging with the sand. It would be really hard for one of the shorebirds or other animals to see it, since you really need to be looking right at it to notice it's there. Remember how after kayaking, I said I'd be perfectly okay if that was the entire tour? Well, I changed my mind. I'm so glad we got to come here too. I'm in love with this beach and could spend the rest of the day just relaxing here if you let me. It's just the perfect secluded spot to spend an afternoon in the Bahamas. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and you can't see any signs of civilization from the beach. It's exactly what I imagine when I think of a hidden Caribbean beach. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but the tour was by Grand Bahama Nature Tours. This was through the cruise, so I didn't research or pick them beforehand, but I thought they did a great job. The tour guide is excellent and it's been a great day. Our last stop of the day was at Garden of the Grove, back in Freeport, about 20 minutes from the beach. I'll admit, I really didn't know anything about it before we got here. It's a small botanical garden at the edge of the city, and it gave us one last little nature stop before it was time to end our day in Freeport. When I got inside, some birds came over to greet me before they wandered off through the rest of the gardens. It was a nice, relaxing spot. There's a little pond in the middle with an artificial waterfall feeding water into it. As you might expect, there's a bunch of little paths that take you through the gardens so you can see all of the plants and trees they have growing inside. After spending the day in the mangroves and at the beach, it was a little bit too artificial for me with all of the paved paths. If you want to see a lot of different plants in a very short amount of time, it does have that going for it, but it's hard to compete with the national park we were at. I wouldn't say it was bad or anything, just not really my type of attraction. A little too man-made for me. But if you're in Freeport and just want to get a little taste of nature, it's very easy. And, like every good tourist attraction, of course they have stores where you can buy some souvenirs before you leave. Overall, the entire tour was fantastic. What a great day out exploring the island. I didn't exactly know what to expect getting a tour through the cruise, but it ended up being really good and completely worth it. The only thing left was the ride back to Freeport Harbor, where we said goodbye to our guide and made the short walk back to the Carnival Legend. We still had a little bit of time before we had to be back on the ship, so we got to wander around the port a little bit. Just like Nassau, Freeport has a little shopping district right at the port with some souvenir stores and bars and restaurants. It makes more sense here since there's nothing else within walking distance, but I'm really glad I did an excursion instead. I wouldn't have wanted to be here all day. Unfortunately, when I got back on the ship, I realized that this was my last stop in the Bahamas on this trip. The rest of the way is just sea days, no more ports to visit. I spent the next little while just hanging around the pool enjoying the weather, but before long we pulled out of Freeport and started our long journey back to Baltimore. I really liked all of the time we spent in the Bahamas. They were some great islands. I know that the further north we go, the colder it's going to get, so I better enjoy as much of the sunshine and warmth as I can. I was surprised more people weren't joining me out here. I thought more people would be up on the pool deck trying to enjoy one last night in the Bahamas. Some of the pools were nearly completely empty. It was a little bit windy as we sailed, but the weather was still nice, so I was expecting more people. But I guess after 3 straight port days, a lot of people were taking some time to relax a little bit and maybe catch a quick nap before dinner and the nightlife. Over the past few days at port, whenever I've been looking back at the ship, I've seen the distinctive red whale-tail funnel that's up at the top of the ship. So I decided to go up to the upper deck and take a closer look at it. When I got right next to it, I saw that part of it is actually made up of red glass windows and looks down into the specialty steakhouse restaurant that they have on board the ship. The steakhouse costs extra, so I didn't bother going there for any of my meals, but I did walk through it while it was empty to see what it looked like inside. I think this is pretty much the highest point you can go on the ship, so you can turn your head and see a clear path to both ends of the Legend. As I was exploring, I found a really nice spot at the rear of the Legend that gives you a perfect view of the ship's wake as it sails through the ocean. This area is actually part of the exterior promenade down on Deck 3. It's open to the public, but you almost never see anyone out here. It's not really the most scenic area of the ship, just a pretty simple walking path around most of the boat, but if you're looking for some fresh air by yourself, it's pretty nice. After a little bit of exploring, I was back in Truffles for tonight's dinner. I started with the calamari as an appetizer. Tonight they had lobster tails on the menu, so I couldn't turn that down. Some days I've been getting 2 appetizers, but I decided today would be a 2 entree night, so I got myself 2 lobster tails. I couldn't turn down the chance. And I'm sure I should have skipped it after 2 lobster tails, but I got the creme brulee for dessert. You probably knew this was coming by now, but again, the staff were up dancing. Carnival definitely tries to make the dinner services more high energy with the music and the dancing. It was a good idea tonight after all the lobster everyone was eating. After dinner, I headed back to the main theater to get a seat for tonight's show. It's been a few days since they had a big performance in here, so I was looking forward to it. Tonight was the rock show, with a lot of rock songs from the 70s and 80s. I'm expecting most of the songs will be from before I was born, but I think I'll recognize a lot more of them than I did with the Brits and Motown. For one of the songs, the performers even spread out into the audience and started singing from the crowd. I was up top, so I had a pretty good vantage point of where they all were. This was definitely my favorite show that I've seen so far. The songs were all high energy, they did a good job with the dancing and choreography, and probably most importantly, I recognized every song. Most of the songs were classics that you've likely heard a million times in movie soundtracks, or being sung on TV talent shows, or even just in commercials. They were even spinning around parts of the set as they sang and danced on them. Definitely kept things exciting and entertaining. I really liked it. I think it's really great that most nights they have these stage shows that they put on. It makes for the perfect activity to do for 45 minutes or so between dinner and the rest of the things to do on the ship at night. I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but they have soft serve stations near the buffet where you can serve yourself. Perfect snack for after the theater shows. And after that, other than relaxing around the ship, I really didn't do much else. I've had 3 amazing port days in a row, and tomorrow we're back at sea for the entire day. Each of these ports gave me something different, so they were a great mix and a fantastic first visit to the Bahamas. I really loved the nature today. The kayaking and beach were so great, I'm really glad I went ahead and booked that excursion. It made for an amazing 6th day of this cruise. Tomorrow I'm back on a sea day, so I have lots of the ship left to explore. Make sure to check back to see what I'm up to next, and if you missed them, check out my other videos from this trip. Links to all of them are down below. If you have any questions about this cruise or any of the ports, ask me in the comments. And while you're at it, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. If you want to see what I'm up to right now, I'm firsthand globetrotting on Instagram. Follow me on there. And don't forget, it's an incredible world out there, so pick up your passport and do some firsthand globetrotting of your own.